Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm a former Boeing 737 pilot and welcome back to the iFly 737 MAX. Today we're going to do another triangular flight departing from Brussels on the TUI flight Belgium flight 2909, heading over to Split, then from there on to Dubrovnik and then back to Brussels. This is part 1 of the series featuring the flight from Brussels to Split with a very scenic approach over the runway 23 over there in Split. Before we start though, a quick word from today's sponsor, Say Intentions AI. If you're looking for an ATC add-on and one that not only does your standard IFR A to B flight, but also things like data link simulation, that's capable of doing VFR and that features, for example, a cabin crew simulation doing announcements based on your SimBrief flight plan, then Say Intentions might be for you. We're going to use it in today's video, so if you like what you hear, be sure to check them out using the link in the pinned comment or in the video description below. And with that out of the way, let's get straight into it. The first thing, as always, is going to be to check our flight plan, and you can see that after a little hassle of getting out of Belgium, we have more or less a straight line all the way down to our arrival in Split. The significant weather chart has some occasional CBs listed until flight level 370, which happens to be our cruising level as well, so we might have to circumnavigate a couple of those. The airport weather luckily is a lot better, so Brussels, as you can see, has clear skies conditions and our destination in Split, same, 310 at 6, Cav OK, up to 32 degrees today, beautiful. Our alternate in Dubrovnik, likewise, very good conditions, clear skies and some winds that are coming pretty cross to the runway, making our second sector pretty interesting today, but apart from that, really easy going. So overall, very good flying conditions, no reason to take any extra fuel for weather, so let's have a look at the flight plan itself. An on-time departure means an arrival almost 20 minutes ahead of schedule. Costinix 20 is the plan for today. We have a lot of margin between the maximum takeoff and maximum landing weights and the estimated weights, and then going down into the fuel section, there isn't all that much to say really. So I do want a little bit of extra fuel because of the approach that we're going to fly, because SimBrief doesn't calculate those circling approaches or those, let's call it, non-straight in approaches very well. So minimum is 6.5, that's the 6.3 up here plus 200 taxi, and then I want another 500 to fly the approach, so 7,000 kilos of fuel should be absolutely good. Alright. So with that out of the way, let's get in and let's head over into the flight deck of our 737 MAX. Now we are going to turn on the battery, we're going to turn on the external power unit down here, and with that our aircraft starts to come to life. So emergency lighting comes on, no smoking should be off at the moment, attendant call button is checked. Takeoff warning works, then let's do the fire test. Works, and the bell cutout works as well. Extinguishers are looking good. So cargo fire is looking good. Then we can move up to the overhead panel and start over here on these overspeed warnings, looking good. Flight recorder is good as well. Stick shaker test. Works just fine. Passenger oxygen is guarded. Engine panel is good. And up here everything looks good. IRS is going to nav, and the ELT as well as the elevator jam landing assist are guarded. Perfect, so that's our safety inspection complete. Then we can take a seat on the captain's seat for the first sector. Why the captain's seat? That's quite an easy one to answer, because the arrival to runway 23 over in Split is actually captain's only, so that's an easy answer to your question. Alright, then let's go ahead and request our catering services here. We are going to get our catering by Gate Gourmet, and while that's in progress, we can just set our NDs, ensure that we don't accidentally activate the weather radar up there. So oxygen test is good. Alright, light test. And up here again everything is looking wonderful. Okay, I like it. Well then, let's head into the EFB real quick and start by loading our airplane up. So we are going to depart from Echo Bravo Bravo Romeo, search and select runway 25 right. It's a dry runway. I'm just going to use 5 knots of tailwind over here, temperature 19. And boy, let's say 2 knots of tailwind. For some reason it always gives me meters per second over here. So QNH, let's actually have a look into the flight plan for that. In the absence of any ATIS just yet, that's always something you can do. So here's the flight plan, and weather Brussels 1022. Okay. So QNH 1022. And then thrust rating, takeoff 2, flaps 5, air conditioning on, ATIS off. Alright, and then on to the weight and balance. So we are planned at 162 passengers today, and then we have some 1000 kilos of cargo, which is all going to end up in the forward hold. Fuel total is 7000 kilos, and then we can have a quick look into the taxi fuel figures down here as well. So back into the flight plan. So I'll round that up to 200 kilos taxi and 4042 kilos of trip fuel. So taxi out 200 and 4042 kilos trip fuel. Alright, and all those figures down here are looking good. So let's hit set payload, set fuel, and done. For the time being at least. Very nice. So then we can go into the terminal charts, and we are departing EBBR. Search, select, and our destination LDSP. Search, select, alternate LDDU, and same thing. Alright, complete. So, Brussels, airport charts. We got the airport chart itself, and then we also need the parking stands, like this. Our departure, the Sopok 3 Golf, should be somewhere over here as well. I just really don't get why they have to use this silly layout over here. It's really hard to find your respective chart. So there's some golf over here. Sopok Mike, Sopok Kilo, Sopok Golf. Here it is. Alright, cool. And complete that. Well, and with all that lovely stuff done, and our catering just getting off the airplane, refueling is complete, can turn on the fasten seatbelt sign. Let's go ahead and request boarding. Alright, and then we can get into our FMC. So it's a 737-8, 28K engines, nav database is up to date. We will be using the GPS position, and then we can do our flight plan request. While we're waiting for that, let's bring up our OFP in the FS24 EFB so that we can directly compare what's going on. Okay, flight plan load. So here we go. It will be Juliet Alpha Fox 2909. Enter. Hey, what's happened there? Enter. Here we go, that's better. Okay, departing Brussels, runway 25 right, Sopok 3 Golf departure. And then arriving into Split, runway 23 with the Arnav visual approach. So for the arrival we got the Sal 1 Yankee. Here it is, and do we need any transition for that? No, it doesn't look like it. Okay, good. So route, let's have a look. Sopok Yankee 863 Oglor, direct Karlsruhe, direct Utaba, Lima 607 Elmem, November 606 Otras, Tango 307 Dirab, direct Vesal, direct Peval, direct Sierra Alpha Lima for the arrival. Looks good. Activate. Alright, so now for our sit itself. Straight at 1700, left turn to Haldenburg. And we got 1700, then Haldenburg. And that's above flight level 60. Which is correct. Thereafter we continue via 102 and Bullocks and then flight level 170. And we got 102, Bullocks and flight level 170. Thereafter we proceed inbound to Sopok, which is above level 240. And that's all in. Wonderful. So with that stuff checked, we can go ahead and do the wind data request. While we're waiting for that, it's 699 nautical miles. And we don't have the flight plan on our EFB, so let's look down here versus 730. That's good enough for me. I'm happy with that. Alright, wind data load. Okay, looking good. Then let's continue on the performance initialization. So we have 2000 reserves. Zero fuel weight is planned as 60.6. Come on. Man, this entry delay is a little bit annoying. I gotta admit that. So wind, something like that, 256 at 14. Man, how am I supposed to enter anything here? Look at how slow this is. I mean, this is nowhere near realistic. Yes, I turned the option for realistic input delay on, but this isn't realistic at all. When you enter something, it's fine, but when you try to erase something, that's no. Just no. Okay, at least everything should be entered now. Okay, wonderful. So, neither the ATC nor the FMC combat are simulated, unfortunately. 250 below 100 is in here, and yeah, that's it. Alright. So, yacht and Perron, nav transfer displays, which is normal and auto. Fuel pumps are coming on. Let's check the crossfeed. So, bright dim and bright off. Seatbelt signs are on. Window overheat coming on. Let's see about the temperatures inside here. Yeah, just shy of 20, that's okay. We don't need an APU then. So, flight level 370 is going to be the cruise level. We don't have a runway waypoint in here, okay. Fine with me. In any case, 0 feet landing elevation should be roughly okay. So, flight directors on. Initial, I think 6,000. Let's dial in 6.1. Do we have a runway track on here? No, we don't. Then it has to be on the airport chart. So, runway track 244. Like this. Number 2 and number 3. So QNH 1022 set, and minimum will be somewhere around 1120. Can use 1150 for the MFRA. Fuel flow reset, auto brake RTO. Let's see, oil quantity is okay, and hydraulics are looking good as well. Automatic is selected. Looking good. Then let's continue further down, which brings us to the radios. So let's see, ATIS 121755. And of course guard on 121.5. Delivery 121955. And ground south 121880. Like this. So for the navs we can use Haldenberg 1755. Active 1 and active 2. So weather radar auto, norm auto, and we want to listen to VHF 1 and 2 plus the interphone, and we also want the PAs up. So Squawk 2000, down here everything's set. You get the same setup that I have. And that's our flight deck setup completed. Then let's go ahead and listen to the ATIS to see what we can actually expect.
debrief all runway and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact, you have information Lima.
So ATIS Lima.
Brussels Airport, information Lima. 0920 Zulu. Wind 275 at 8 gusting 18. Visibility 6. Sky conditions, few at 4,000 feet. Temperature 21. Dew point 10. QNH 1022. Density altitude 600 feet. Arriving runways 25 right, 25 left, 19er. Departing runways 25 right, 19er. Transition level 50, advise on course heading.
Okay, that's looking good. So before we are going to do the takeoff briefing, let's go ahead and get our clearance. Brussels delivery, good morning, duty 2909, information Lima, requests IFR clearance to split.
I'll have your clearance in just a second.
Okay, we can absolutely wait for that. So, what's the status of our boarding? Completed.
Beauty 2909, information Lima is current. Cleared to split via the SOPIO 3 Golf departure runway, 25 right. Initial climb to 6,000 feet. Departure on 127.575 squawk 1000.
Beauty 2909, cleared to split via the SOPIO 3 Golf departure, runway 25 right, climb altitude 6,000, departure frequency 127.575, squawk 1000.
Beauty 2909, read back correct. Contact ground on 118.055.
118.055, Beauty 2909. Alright, wonderful. So we have runway 25 right, SOPOC 3 Golf departure, climbing to 6,000, departure 127.575.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard TUI Fly Belgium, flight 2909, departing from Brussels to
Okay,
Split.
and the
Please
squawk
take your
1000.
seats according to your boarding passes and stow your hand luggage in the overhead bins or under the seats in front of you. If you require any assistance, do not hesitate to contact the crew. Thank you.
So, would you delete the scratch pad, please? Because otherwise this is a little bit annoying when I have to click every button. When I have to click the same button like a million times. Because as you can see, with that input delay feature, it just takes ages to remove this. And the real one, click it, hold it, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and it's gone. Makes things a little bit easier than, well, this. Okay, cool. So everything's done down here. Our boarding is complete. Then let me say hello to our passengers. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel, and in the name of TUI, I would like to welcome you aboard our Boeing 737-8 on this flight to Split and then on to Dubrovnik. Today's flight time is calculated at 1 hour and 55 minutes for the first sector. Then we will stay on the ground for about 30 minutes before commencing our second flight. I would like to thank you very much for being our guests today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. And if there is anything we can do for you to make it more enjoyable, please do not hesitate to ask any of our charming cabin crew. Once again, thank you very much for your attention and for being our guests. And now make yourself comfortable and please pay full attention to the cabin crew's safety demonstration that is going to commence shortly, which is not just for their morning stretches, but also for your personal safety. Thank you very much for your attention. Okay, so cabin is briefed, then let's start the APU, and at the same time we can start our final FMC preparation. So weight and balance, zero fuel weight is 60.5 versus 60.6, and that's a gross weight of 67.4, which checks with the FMC. So 275 at 4 meters per second, which equals 8 knots, 21 degrees, 1022. The rest is looking good. And that gives me a D-rated takeoff 2 at 40 degrees. So that's 80.5% N1 versus 79.0. Those 1.5 are because the APU bleed isn't on yet. That's fine with me. In the meantime, you can prepare for pushback and departure, please. Park and brake is set. Wonderful. So, flaps 5, takeoff. CG 21.3. 6.5 units at trim. And the speeds 41, 41, 48. Here we go. Beautiful. Okay, ground from flight deck. Yeah, go ahead, Captain. Please confirm all doors and hatches are closed, the ground equipment is removed, and... well, actually, you can remove the ground equipment now, and then advise us when we are ready to go, please. So, ground support. Trucks are going, and electrics. APU is on bus. Set. Very good. Okay, so confirm you're ready for push? Yes, Captain. Thanks, then we'll call you in a moment. So, safety inspection checklist, and before start checklist down to the line, please. Services and trucks checked, maintenance status checked, battery on, electric hydraulic pumps on, landing gear lever down, ship's library checked. RS mode selectors nav, gear pins, 1, 2, 3 removed. Light is checked, oxygen test 100%, yaw damper on, nav transfer and display switches normal and auto. Fuel 6.5 required, 7 on board, 4 pumps on. Cabin utility IFE galley power on, emergency exit lights armed, fasten belts on. Window heat on, aircon and press, packs auto, bleeds on set, pressurization mode selector, auto, instruments, cross checked, auto brake, RTO, hydraulics. Normal, speed brake down detent, park and brake set, stop and cutout switches normal, wheel by fire warning checked, radius radar and transponder set and standby, radar and aileron trims 3 and 0, takeoff briefing discussed, PA complete, FMC and CDU set, N1 and IAS bugs, so automatic and reduced 20k, speeds 41, 41, 48 set. Step trim 6.5 set, performance weight and balance, sign send, phones off, EFB, airplane mode stowed, flight windows and cockpit door locked, except for the cockpit door. Okay, locked. Windows closed, or doors closed, and the cabin is ready. Wonderful. Alright, cool. That's the before start checklist complete down to the line. Now for the takeoff briefing. Yeah, threats for the departure? Honestly, I see none. So, route check. Echo Bravo Bravo Romeo to Lima Delta Sierra Papa. Juliet Alpha Foxtrot 2909 the call sign. And the routing Sopok Yankee 863 Olgor, direct Karlsruhe, direct Yotaba, Lima 607 Elmem, November 606 Otres, Tango 307 Dirab, direct Vizal, direct Peval, direct Sierra Alpha Lima, and the ground distance should be 730 versus 698, 3.3 remaining, and yeah, 2.0 required, giving us about quite a bit of extra, to be honest. Some half an hour on top. Okay, so instrument cross-check, time UTC 0408, altimeter 1022, reading 120, MFRA is 1250, flight directors on, minus master, standby instrument set. It's a left seat takeoff, runway 25 right, flaps 5, noise abatement procedure 2, and anti-ice off. Now, for the emergencies, no, actually we start on the left-hand side. Above 80 knots, I will only reject for fire or fire warning, engine failure, predictive wind shear warning if the aircraft is unable or unsafe to fly. If I call stop, I'll simultaneously close the thrust levers, disengage the auto throttle, apply maximum manual braking, and verify operation of the RTO auto brakes. Manually raise the speed brake lever, apply maximum reverse thrust, and when the aircraft comes to stop, I'll set the park and brake. Thanks. If you call stop, I note the brake sound speed, call speed picks up or speed picks not up, and thrust reverse normal indications. Call 100 knots, 8 knots, 6 knots, and the runway distance remaining. Verify your actions, call any emissions. I will call auto brake disarm and select flaps 40 when the park and brake has been set, and advise ATC of the reject. Thank you. We will then identify the failure and carry out any drills as appropriate. If we decide to evacuate, we read into the evacuation checklist. Time permitting, we'll pull the CBRCB, grab the lid, and then we get out. In terms of the taxi, it's fairly easy. Pushback to the right-hand side, and then we are going to taxi via most likely the outers to Bravo 1, and there's a hotspot over here at the runways. Just make sure that we enter the correct runway and don't accidentally enter runway 19 when we're supposed to be on runway 25 right. So our sit is the Sopak 3 Golf departure, straight at 1700 left into Haldenburg, and then via 102 in Bullocks, or level 170, whichever is later, to Sopak above level 240. Initial climb altitude 6000, contact departure when advised by the tower. No, actually after takeoff, remain on tower frequency, and then they told us our departure will be 127.575. And that's it. Any questions? Why you? No. Beauty 2909 request pushback and startup. Yeah, thanks. Before they break our tires.
Beauty 2909, pushback and startup approved. Face northeast.
Pushback and startup approved. Face northeast. Beauty 2909. So ground, I see you just started pushing on your own already. Make it northeast, please.
Welcome aboard TUI Fly Belgium, flight 2909, departing from Brussels to Split. On behalf of the airline,
okay, before start
I would like
checklist,
to
below the
introduce our
line.
Captain Emmanuel and our
Air
first
complex
officer,
off,
Frank.
anti-collision light on, park
Joining
and
me in
brake,
the cabin
released,
today are my
transponder
fellow
out
crew
off, before
members,
start checklist
Camille,
complete.
Julian, and Sophie.
So ground, we're starting engine
As
number
we
2.
prepare for departure, please
Clear
ensure
two.
your seat belts are fastened. To fasten your seat belt,
And 2.
insert the metal tip into the buckle until you hear a click. To release
And 1
it,
is
lift
coming
the buckle.
much too early here.
In the event of a loss of cabin pressure, oxygen masks will
Okay,
drop
motoring
from the
in
panel
progress.
above you. Pull the mask towards you to start the flow of oxygen. Place it over your nose and mouth and secure it with the elastic band. Remember to secure your own mask before assisting others. We also have life vests.
So looking at the
located
timer,
under
they
your
started the
seats.
pushback just on
In the
time.
unlikely event of an evacuation over
Please don't
water,
do that without
pull
pilot
the vest
approval.
out, place it over your head, and pull the straps to secure it. Inflate the vest by pulling the red tabs or by blowing into
Fuel
the
coming
tubes.
on.
In case of an emergency evacuation,
Self-test in progress,
please
and
leave your luggage
okay.
on board. Your safety
Alright,
is
pushback
our
completed, set
priority.
park and brake, please.
There are 2 emergency exits located at the
Park and
front
brake set.
and 2 at the rear of the aircraft. Please take a moment to locate the nearest exit, which may be behind you. The estimated flight time is 1 hour and 53 minutes. Thank you for your attention, and we wish you a pleasant flight.
Okay, starter cutout, monitor 2, isolated pack, and starting 1. So ground, we have a good start number 2, starting number 1. Clear 1. disconnecting down here. The wing walker is once again committing suicide. The clouds are doing interesting things. Looks like someone started the spraying operations. Okay, we have N2, oil pressure, N1. There's the ramp agent holding a pin. And clear signal is seen. Okay, thanks. We have 2 good engine starts here. Clear to disconnect. Show me the pin on the left side. Please have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. Alright, start cutout, monitor 1. So, 2, 4, 7, 3. That looks good. Okay, flight control check. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Rudder. Full left. Full right. Neutral. So, after start checklist, please. Generators on, ABU off, start switches continuous, probe beat on, anti-ice off, air conditioning, packs auto, bleeds on, isolation valve, auto, flaps, 5 required, 5... Here we go. 5 selected. And the green light. Step trim 6.5 required set. Start levers idly 10. Flight controls checked. Recall checked. Before taxi checklist complete. Beauty 2909. Request taxi.
Beauty 2909, taxi to runway 25 right via Romeo 4, outer 7.
Taxi to runway 25 right via Romeo 4, outer 7, Beauty 2909. Okay, that's pretty much as briefed. We are on Romeo 4 over here. So it'll be straight ahead and then onto the outer 7 all the way to the runway. Okay, clear left side, clear on the right side. Config. So, third to the left. Here's the first. No vehicles coming. Good. Then next comes the inner taxiway, and that is clear as well. And then the second to the left. And here we are on the outer. Okay, before takeoff checklist down to the line, please. Config. Checked. Flaps 5, 5, green light. Step trim 6.5 set. Takeoff briefing. It will be a left seat takeoff, runway 25 right, flaps 5, noise abatement procedure 2, and the takeoff speeds 141, 141, 148 set. Pax auto bleeds on, anti-ice off, sit straight at 1700, left turn to Haldenberg, and initial climb 6000. Contact departure when advised by tower on 127.575, and the emergency is straight at 25 miles, climbing 3000, that's going to keep us safe. Cabin, Beep, beep. Secured. Before takeoff checklist complete.
Beauty 2909er, contact tower on 118.605, safe flight.
118.605, Beauty 2909, bye-bye. Okay.
Beauty 2909er, contact tower on 118.605, bye-bye.
You just said that, 118.605, Beauty 2909. Process tower, Beauty 2909, ready for departure.
Beauty 2909er, Brussels Airport Tower, runway 25 right, winds 265 at 10, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 25 right, cleared for takeoff, Beauty 2909. Cabin crew, prepare for departure. So, before takeoff checklist below the line, MCP. Set, transponder, TA arrays, strobe lights on, landing lights on, before takeoff checklist complete. Are you ready? Well, there is no one sitting next to me, but let's assume it's a yes. If there is nobody sitting there, there's also nobody who can say no, right? Ready? Take off. Stabilized. Set. Takeoff thrust. Takeoff thrust set. Indications normal. $80 knots. Checked. I have no idea why the flight director commands me to pitch down, because we are pretty much exactly on target speed, but okay. Flaps 1, speed check. Flaps 1.
Beauty 2909er, contact departure on 127.575.
127.575, Beauty 2909er. Flaps up. Speed check. Flaps up. I have no idea why it doesn't turn, or why it doesn't indicate the 1,700 feet waypoint correctly, but you can give me direct to Haldenberg, please. That's looking much better. Brussels departure, Beauty 2909, passing 3,600, climbing 6,000.
Beauty 2909er, Brussels departure identified. Climb flight level 160, direct Holdenberg.
Climb flight level 160, direct Holdenberg, Beauty 2909. Set, 160 checked, and we are in Mount Holdenberg already. Set standard. Standard cross check, passing flight level 50. Now. Okay, flaps up, no lights, and off the takeoff checklist. So I think we can release the cabin crew for duty here.
Beauty 2909, climb flight level 230.
Beauty 2909, climb flight level 230. Set. 230 checked.
Beauty 2909, passing 3600, climbing 6000.
What? Say again.
Beauty 2909, passing 3600, climbing 6000.
Disregard. No idea what that was about. At least that's
Beauty 2909, disregard acknowledged. Continue as filed.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. At least that's a good sign that AI is not going to take over my pilot job anytime soon. So, after takeoff checklist. Aircon and press, set 3.6, climbing and set. Altimeters, standard, passing level 102, climbing level 230. And then we can do the 10 checks as well, which is fuel balanced, 4 pumps on, light.
Dear guests, we have now reached a safe altitude.
Off,
and you are
APU
permitted
off,
to
aircon
use
and
your
press,
electronic
3.8,
devices.
climbing
Please
set,
ensure
fasten
they are
belt.
set to flight mode.
We'll wait
Thank you
until
for your
we're through the clouds
cooperation.
over there. Recall, check, and monitoring 1 to 1.5. Unfortunately, the iFly doesn't have any CPDLC, so that's our 10 checks completed. Well, and then I tend to say, enjoy the lovely views, and I'll see you on approach. we're getting closer to split and we can start to set the aircraft up for our approach into runway 23. Or is it still going to be runway 23? Well, let's find out and get the ATIS. So, split, airport, ATIS 125.3. Looks like we don't receive it just yet, but let's just ask air traffic control. Beauty 2909, can you confirm our expected runway, please?
Beauty 2909, expect the runway 23 for your arrival.
Thank you. Okay, beautiful. So that's pretty clear now.
Beauty 2909, roger.
Sal 1 Yankee arrival, followed by the unofficial approach runway 23. Then let's go ahead and pin those two charts and start having a look. So down here we can leave all those speeds. We are arriving well ahead of schedule, 0601. So we can just leave the low descent speeds in, 250 below level 100. Insert forecast request, and we'll just leave all the rest in here. Is the transition level correct? Would be lovely if we had that anywhere on the charts here. Here we go. Transition altitude 10,000 QNH should be more than 1013, so that looks okay to me. Alright, so load that up and execute. So now things are going to get a little bit more interesting on the fixed page. So after Walker we've got Sierra Papa 504. We'll tune that. Next we need Sierra Papa 505 and then 506.
Beauty 2909, contact Zagreb radar on 125.78.
Contacting Zagreb radar on 125.78.
Okay, looks like
Beauty 2909.
Pages in this one, that's fine. Then we'll just take it this way. Okay, so
Zagreb radar. Beauty 2909. Morning. Maintaining flight level 370.
Beauty 2909, Zagreb radar identified. This is Bravo.
okay, so let's have a look at our arrival next. We follow the Sal 1 Yankee arrival, which is going to be from Sali via waypoint 710 above level 160 and 709 above level 110, both of which we've got in here. On towards Chemix, maximum 250 knots, and then via Sierra Papa 701 towards Lazul, which is above 4,000 feet, and looks like we got all of that in here. The approach itself on a visual runway 23 from Lazul via 509 to Murat to Horka, and that is looking quite good, and from there we're going to turn final ourselves. Alright, so far so good. Missed approach then. Missed approach point is Horka, right? Sierra Papa 502, 503, maximum 185, and then back to Lazul, and that's exactly what we've got here. Okay, at Lazul, maximum 190 knots, minimum holding altitude 4,000, and the go around goes to 4,000 as well, which we've got in here. Beautiful. So, in the visual phase of flight, after passing Horka, proceeds along the visual approach track, and when once on the final approach track, climb straight ahead to Delta Victor November NDB at 3,000 and hold. Okay, so that's slightly different from what we're used to, so let's insert Delta Victor November at the end over here. Okay, so Delta Victor November 3000. execute. Okay. So, minimum is 2,000 feet. And that is set. Well, what else do we need to do? We don't get the weather just yet, so I'll just go for auto brake 3 for the time being. So, burning 600, that's a landing weight of 63.6. Flaps 40. And that's it. Alright, for the MCP, I suppose we can't really tune anything useful, so I'll just set the runway tracks. That's 229. And that's it. Alright, cool. So that's the setup completed. Then let's start the approach briefing. Threats for the arrival? Most definitely the terrain. Weather shouldn't be one, so I'll just go over to the terrain display now already. So let's have a look into the FMS. We have 250 below 100, forecast page is in, fixes are set up for the visual approach. The star is from Sally via waypoint 710 and 709, a CAMX, and then eventually onto the final approach. 3-degree glide, Vorka 2000 is where the visual part starts, and we do have that visual approach runway 23 chart over here as well, which is rather useful. So the key point here is do not exceed 4.6 dB from Sierra Papa Lima, split 15.7, and I'll set that active. Cool. Alright, that's mostly it. Missed approach we talked about during the setup. Burning 600 now, well, it's gonna end up somewhere over here. And auto brakes 3 to vacate the runway. Perhaps we'll need to backtrack, could be. We have questions on this? Nope? Okay. Then let's say bye-bye to our passengers. Ladies and gentlemen, from a flight deck, this is your captain speaking. We will start our descent to split in the next couple of minutes with a remaining flight time of approximately 25 minutes. The weather in Split currently very nice, temperatures already up to 25 degrees and climbing. We do expect clear skies and just a light wind from the southwest. We do expect to fly over the city during the approach, which means we will fly across a small range of hills, which you will be able to see on the right hand side, with the beauty of the city on the left hand side during our approach. Thank you very much for choosing TUI for today's flight. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, and we look forward to welcoming you again soon. Thank you very much for your attention, and we wish you a nice and safe continuous journey, unforgettable holidays, and if applicable, a nice and safe onwards journey with us to Dubai. Okay, I'm back here. Descent checklist, please. Pressurization, land out 0, anti-IS off, approach with fuel discussed, IS mailbox checked and set. Descent checklist complete. And let's already pull the VSD up, and then we can request descent. Beauty 2909, ready for descent.
Beauty 2909, cleared Sally 1 Yankee, arrival into Split. When you're ready, descend, flight level 290.
Cleared Sally 1 Yankee, arrival, when ready, descent level 290, Beauty 2909. Well, then, let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now on our final approach into Split. Please turn off your electronic devices and stow them until we arrive at the gate. Ensure your tray tables are put away, your seats are in the full upright position, and your seat belts are fastened. TUI Flight Fly Belgium staff will provide information regarding your connecting flights once we are on the ground. Thank you for your cooperation.
You've heard it, we are on approach to Split. Let's go ahead and do the 10 checks over here, which is fuel balance, 4 pumps on, lights are coming on, angle of bank 25, air conditioning pressurization 3.0 descending set, fast modes on, recall checked, and 1 to 1.5 is deselected, and that's the 10 checks complete. So, ATC has confirmed that we're expecting the armor visual approach to runway 23, and the star leads us to Lazul. From there we can start our arrival. The field is more or less on site already. It's located just over there. But of course we are going to wait until we're a little bit closer before actually requesting to continue the approach. Now, what we can do in the meantime is our frisk. So frequencies, we don't actually need any, so we just have split VOR active 15.7, and might as well just tune that over here as well. So 15.7 and 15.7. Fixed rings are not needed for this approach. Islands, Sierra Papa Lima confirmed, standby instruments set, and the courses are on the runway track 229. Approach checklist please. Altimeters and instruments, set cross-checked, approach aids, checked and set, approach checklist complete. Alright, so we're going to do the left-hand turn here towards Lazul, and then we will start our approach from there. Again, Lazul is the IAF over here as well. So, field over here. The approach basically leads us right over here. And then from there, along the mountains, onto the final. I like it. Split is one of those airports where you have
Beauty
just...
2909er, turn left heading 035 vectors for the visual runway 23 approach.
Left heading 035. Vectors for the visual runway 23 approach. Beauty 2909er.
Okay, heading select. So they might just send us to Roca eventually, and then we're going to start the approach from there. Otherwise, we just have the field inside over there anyway, so we could just request a visual approach at any time. And let's tell him. I'm going to take over ATC manually for a moment here. So my ATC. Beauty 2909, field inside, request visual approach.
Beauty 2909er, turn right heading 055 vectors for the visual runway 23 approach.
Beauty 2909er, we don't need radar vectors. We are able to commence the visual from this position.
Beauty 2909er, cleared for the visual approach runway 23 at Split.
Cleared visual approach runway 23, Beauty 2909. Okay, that's about as easy as you can make it. So let's proceed direct to waypoint 509. LNAV. And then we can descend altitude 2000. Now Split is one of those airports where pilots do need dedicated training in order to be able to operate into there. And you can obviously see why that's the case. So, BSD is coming on. Might prove a useful tool on the approach. And flaps one. Speed checks. Flaps. One. Okay, so we are descending at 2000. That's the final altitude at Roca. And apart from that, we don't have all that many things to do just yet. 7 miles to run. Walker is located just above the tip of the island over here. And then we'll do the visual to the left over the city onto the final. Let's give ATC back to our first officer. Your ATC. Because the final approach is definitely going to be a little bit of work for us. Okay, flaps 5. Speed checked. Flaps 5. So that's a smaller check. 136 is the final approach speed now. That's fine with me. Okay, so our field is over there. That's the airport. So gear down, flaps 15. And landing checklist to flaps, please. Start switches, continuous, recall, check, speed brake, arm green light, landing gear down 3 green, all brake 3 set, flaps 2 go. The cabin should be ready by now. So now comes the next interesting thing, that's the go around, because initially it's up to 4,000 feet. So let's set that. But once we're past Walker, it's only to 3,000. Okay, flaps 25.
2,500.
Speed check, flaps 25. Insurance noted. Flaps 40. Speed check, flaps 40. So, complete the landing checklist. Flaps 40, 40 green lights, landing lights to go. Okay, recycle flight directors. And passing Walker.
Approaching minimums.
Checked. Runway is in sight, we can continue.
Minimums.
Continue. Set runway track and set go around altitude 3000. So, runway track 229, 3000 feet set. So we can take over the thrust as well. Manual thrust. Field is over there. That's what we want to see, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic.
Obstacle. Caution, obstacle. Caution,
Yeah, that obstacle is
obstacle.
actually made of
Caution, obstacle.
rock over
Caution,
here.
obstacle. Caution, obstacle. Caution, obstacle.
So is it
Caution,
going to shut down by
obstacle.
itself, or
Caution,
do we have to shut
obstacle.
it down?
Caution, obstacle. Caution,
Looks
obstacle.
like we gotta do it.
Caution, obstacle. Caution, obstacle. Caution, obstacle.
Thank you. Okay, 3 miles from the runway, let's continue the descent.
1,000.
Checked. So, here comes the road, and the road is a perfect thing to follow, because that leads us straight into the final approach. Runway is inside, we're showing 4 whites, correcting. Let's see if ATC is going to be able to handle the landing clearance this time. Turning final.
$500. $400.
Yeah, he just wanted to give the hand over.
Switching to split tower on 124.675.
We will
Beauty
land anyway, even if they don't
2909er.
manage to give us the
300.
landing clearance on time. This is just a limitation of same tensions right now.
200.
Split tower. Beauty 29er
100.
09er. Morning. We're established on the visual approach for runway 23.
50. 40. 30. 20.
Beauty 29er09er, split
10.
tower, winds 215 at 11, runway 23, cleared to land.
Ha! He said clear to land the second before we touched down.
Runway 23. Clear to
So, speed
land.
pickup, thrust
Beauty
goes normal.
29er09er.
100 knots. Manual brakes, 80 knots. 60 knots. Lovely.
Beauty 29er09er, welcome to split. Taxi to stand 5 via Alpha. Tango 1, stay with me.
Taxi to stand 5 via Alpha. Tango 1. Staying with you. Beauty 29er09er.
And
Ladies
now
and
GSX
gentlemen,
is
we have
dead.
just landed at Split Airport. On
Where
behalf
is
of
it?
Captain Emmanuel,
Yeah, look at
First
that.
Officer Frank, and the entire crew,
God, unbelievable.
we thank you for flying with TUI Fly Belgium. Please remain seated with your seat belts fastened until we reach our final parking position. Did you know that Split is home to the Diocletian's Palace, a UNESCO World Heritage Site?
Oh, come on,
It's a
airplane. Keep
must-see.
taxiing.
The local time here is 7:04 a.m. Thank you.
Okay, so stand 5 is coming up over there. What's that trim sound? That was strange. And it looks like GSX is dead. Oh, lovely. Alright, we'll just stop here for a second, restart Throttle in the background. This is such an incredible program. $40, my friends. $40. Okay, so let's see. Up here everything's done. We can already turn those lights off because the next thing we'll do is to enter the stand. Can turn the train back on. Alright, so let's try that again. Gate 5. No, follow me. Alright, so is that... Are those stairs far enough away? Probably not. This might get expensive, but I don't care. So lights are off, APU is on. And on the bus. Who places the stairs over here? In this can't end well. See? But of course it's not Umberto's fault, it's the profile. Always. Okay. So, 2 blue, 1 red, engine's dead. Cabin crew, disarm lights and cross-check. Okay. So, both engines are below 20. Transit shutdown checklist, please. Electrical on APU, fasten belts off. Pro beat, auto, NEI is off, air conditioning packs on, engine bleeds on, APU bleed on, exterior lights set, start switches off. So, auto brake off, speed brake down to 10, flaps up and alight, parking brake set, start levers cut off, weather radar off, transponder 2000 standby, CB/RCB in, cockpit door unlocked, and that's the transit shutdown checklist complete. So, GSX, request deboarding please. And while that's going on, let's go into the systems and connect the external power unit and the chocks. So the chocks are in position, parking brake is released, GPU is connected, outside temperature 30 degrees, we will absolutely keep the APU. For air conditioning, as I'm 100% sure they don't have any air conditioning units over here. Well my friends, and that's going to be it for our first sector. Hope you found this one interesting. Be sure to leave your feedback in the comments underneath the video, as I'm really looking forward to it. If you liked our air traffic control, then be sure to check out Sane Tensions AI using the link in the pinned comment and in the video description below. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. As always, like, comment and subscribe, and if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to see you all for our next flight on towards Dubrovnik.